Have you served your spouse with divorce papers, but they are ignoring the process and not showing up to court dates? I'm Matt Dolan with Dolan Divorce Lawyers in Connecticut, and today I'm going to explain how to finalize a divorce if your spouse is refusing to cooperate with the process. Now, first, it's worth noting that you do not need your spouse's permission to get a divorce in Connecticut. You can get that divorce finalized even if they don't want the divorce. And if they refuse to cooperate with the process, you really have two good options. The first is seeking a default divorce, which is essentially you telling the court, my spouse has not shown up to this process. They are ignoring the process despite the fact that I have served them and they have notice of the proceeding. And I want to present my own proposed orders of what I think should happen with regard to child custody, child support, alimony, division of assets and debts, etc. Essentially, I want my proposed orders to be approved by the court and those to be the final terms of the divorce. And as long as the court finds that your proposed orders are reasonably fair and equitable, given the totality of the circumstances, those proposed orders will become the terms of the divorce. And that is really only a good option if you have a comfort level with the fact that you have a full understanding of your family finances. So you know what your spouse earns for income. You know what all of the assets and debts of your family are. And the reason is if you get a default divorce and there are accounts that you are unaware of, for example, you can't divide accounts for which you were never aware. So if you suspect that your spouse has accounts that you do not know about, then it is probably not worth going for a default divorce because your spouse will presumably retain accounts that you are never made aware of. If you're less confident with the fact that you have a full understanding of your family finances, then you're likely going to want to subpoena your spouse to court if they fail to show up for those preliminary court dates. And a subpoena is essentially a court order compelling your spouse to come to court. And if they still fail to show up to court, the court can issue what's called a capias, which is essentially an arrest warrant, where a marshal will go in and arrest them and bring them into court. And once you have them showing up to court and cooperating with the process, you'll want to file discovery requests. And if they fail to respond to those discovery requests, which are requests for financial documents, you'll want to see pay stubs, tax returns, bank account statements, etc. And the reason you want that information is to get a full understanding of your spouse's financial circumstances and make sure that all of the accounts he or she has are being disclosed. So if they fail to respond to those discovery requests once they are in the court process and cooperating, you can file a motion to compel, which is essentially seeking a court order compelling your spouse to provide that financial discovery. And if they still fail to provide those documents, the court can enter sanctions. They can order the other side to pay for your attorney's fees, and they can even incarcerate the other party if they have a continued pattern of failing to provide the financial documentation that you need. So once you have all of that financial information, you can then work towards trying to reach an agreement. And if you can't reach an agreement, the court will have a trial. So those are the basics on what to do if your spouse is failing to cooperate with the court process. And again, it's worth noting that if you incur significant attorney's fees as a result of your spouse's failure to cooperate, then you can seek reimbursement for those fees. So as usual, if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to contact our office. And if you are looking for representation in a divorce or family law case here in Connecticut, we would invite you to contact our office as well.